Welcome to the Life Podcast, where we figure out frameworks to live the most fulfilling life possible. I share these thoughts and ideas from the lens of philosophy, observation, and critical thinking. My name is Jabadi Umi, and I'll be your companion on your self-improvement journey. Please share and enjoy. This episode. I actually cancelled it. I drafted up the script about beginning of this year. It was supposed to be the burden of purpose. That was the name. And just like every other episode, there's some episodes that just like I talked about in the art of detachment. I recorded the art of detachment and I wasn't feeling it, so I had to record another one. Now this, I was about to record it. I was about to start, and I was looking at it and I was like, I wasn't feeling the script actually, and now I've actually revisited it. But now it's a new title. As you can see, The Price of Dreams. I wrote The Price of Dreams / The Cost of Dreams. Yeah. I don't know what to say to it yet. By the time you listen to this, I would have already sorted that one out. So the cancelled episode, the burden of purpose, and then just the idea behind the price of dreams. So it's just like I was talking about, the Pure Focus series is more about purely focusing on your goals, purely focusing on your purpose. And we started with the art of uncertainty, the art of different of uncertainty, the art of purpose, block out the noise, other episodes. I think that maybe one more. I think there's one more because I think there are like 4 Pure Focus episodes. I'm naming off my head actually. So I'm trying. So the point of purpose is just highlighting the idea of purpose itself, on how it's not really a linear journey. It's not like as if when you discover your purpose, everything is going to be smooth sailing. You're just going to achieve this goal. You always have this big picture in mind, and then you're doing this, you're knocking off that, you're knocking off this, you're knocking off that. It's more of there are trade-offs to it. There's this saying I like to tell myself that you win something to lose something. You lose something to win something. So it's just it plays off to the idea of opportunities. Not every loss is a loss. Most losses, or I can say every loss is an opportunity. Every loss is an opportunity, and everything happens for a reason. So the burden of purpose just plays into that idea that it's not always going to be smooth sailing, that there's a burden, there's a cost of having a purpose. There's a price to it, There's a price to your dreams, there's a price to attaining that certain goal. And you must understand that price. Not only must you understand that price, but you must be able to pay it. Pay it, live with it. Trying to achieve your goals or purpose is a costly one. And anytime I read this quote, okay, I'm even actually going to talk about it. I'm actually going to talk about it here. But then trying to achieve your goals or purpose is a costly one. My train of thought here goes back to the video. There was this video I recorded, the Embrace the Uncertainty. I think I can remember the title of it. And then I didn't think it was that one though, but then there was this idea I was talking about, that the journey is a lonely road. And for the most part, it's been a lonely road for me personally. You meet people come and go. I remember when I started programming, that time I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I was just programming. That was just something I was focusing on at the time. So I remember that there are people I used to talk to a lot. I used to chat with a lot of females. I used to have a lot of guys. We used to catch up on. We used to talk about the most random conversations. And when I look back at it, they were good times. Good, very very good, solid times. We'll talk throughout the whole day to 3 a.m., 4 a.m. and stuff. We talk about random things, just random things. And when I started to focus on what I was doing, I didn't have a lot of time. I wasn't even feeling like talking anymore. And I think that was one of the moments that morphed me into who I am today. The guy that does not even say much. I don't even say much, even though we're very, very close, even though we have a lot of history or whatever. I just don't feel like saying much. I don't really have a lot of things to say these days, And that was one of the situations that was one of the experiences that morphed me into who I am. So there's actually a price to everything. I lost a lot of. I wouldn't say I lost a lot of friends. I didn't lose them. We weren't just talking anymore. And themselves they also got busy doing school and all that stuff. So when I look at it, sometimes I think it's my fault, but they also got busy. They didn't message me. I didn't message them. They didn't message me. So it's like it's a two-way street. But then that's one of the price you have to pay. Like you lose a lot of friends. You lose a lot of friends. You lose a lot of relationships and everything. And I don't know if you're willing to pay that price. And there's a lot of things you have to forfeit. Just like I watched a 2021 movie in 2023. It's weird, like House of Dragons. House of Dragons released in like 2022. That was like when I was in my year one. I remember when my brother was watching it, and I just watched it like a few days ago. Like literally, I'm watching something that people started watching like 2 years ago. I mean, that's fine if you look at it, but when you look at the overall scale, you see that there's not a lot of time to do things. Like I've never been for a okay. Normally, I don't even go to parties. So let me not even give the party analogy. I'm not a party person. But then you get the idea that there are some there are some things you have to sacrifice. So there's some prices you have to pay. You must just like what I said earlier. You must lose to gain. So what for everything that you're trying to achieve, you're shedding things away. So it's just like it was actually one of my goals to be a less to speak less. It was one of my goals because I remember in SS1, my mom was always like, I thought I talk like a girl. I'm always talking. And from SS1, because I remember vividly from SS1, I usually I had this internal goal within me to speak less, to be this guy that doesn't say much. There's this word to be straightforward, yeah, to be straightforward and to be this guy that doesn't say much. Nowadays, I'm like the most straightforward person you ever meet. Like I can only message you. Sometimes I can message people like, "How far are you doing?" If I think of you, I'll message you like, bro, or like, "How are you doing? How are you feeling? How was your life been and everything?" We'll catch up and all. But I won't lie to you. Most of my conversations are straightforward. I'll be like, "Hey, how you doing? What's up? How you doing?" And I'll be like, "This." I'll just go straight to the point. Like, this is this and that. This is this and that. And then when we are in the conversation, I'll just give you a reaction. Or I'll just be like, "Okay, yeah, I'll see you later. See you around." I'll be like, "I'll see you when I see you." I usually have a line for ending chats. Like I usually at the point I prided myself on top of it. Like I know how to end chats properly. I know how to end chats as fast as possible. When we're finished discussing what I came here to discuss, I'll just cut stuff. I'll be like, okay, yeah, man. And the person be yanning me, whatever, and I'll be like, yeah, I'll laugh it up. I'll be like, I'll see you around. And boom, I've ended the chat like that. So when I look at it, I did lose a lot of genuine connections, like genuine friendships, because there was this thought that somebody said to me that I was like, he said like what I think. I was like, I don't like talking about business conversations, trying to be straightforward and talking about the important stuff. And he was like, what you think is business for you might be something important for another person. So I won't call them business conversations. I might just call them conversations that I do not need to entertain at that point in time, or I was not interested in entertaining at that point in time. And they actually add up because those conversations are what make friendships. Talking about how rain fell on your clothes, or like how dust, or how your leg is so dusty, or how your skin is breaking, or how you watch this on that, and then you met this person outside, and then you saw this random bed falling down into somewhere, or you see this random bed doing this, or whatever. Random things are what actually build a relationship, or like what actually builds friendships. And for the most part, I don't talk about random stuff. I'm not even a random person. I don't even like spontaneity. You know, so these are like I'm just telling you all these stories, or like giving the idea so you can understand the costs you have to bear. And I do not regret it actually. I don't regret being straightforward. I like how I was what am I saying? I like how I'm straightforward. I actually like it a lot. I don't have a lot to say. And I like the fact that I do not have a lot to say. It's okay for me. You know. But then there's some other things that you might have to pay the price for. And you might pay it in your relationship. You don't have a lot of time to discuss with people. Maybe you have a boyfriend, a girlfriend. you don't have a lot of time to discuss with them. So that's like the price you have to pay. I mean, you can also balance it. There's really no balance in life. I won't lie to you. There's no work-life balance. I mean, let me emphasize now. If you're trying to do the impossible, like if you're working in a startup, if you're trying to create something, if you're trying to build something, there's really no balance. Like me personally, I do have balance, and I'm not even looking for balance. I just do random stuff at random times. I can be like, okay, I record a podcast now, I record a video now, I'm working now, I'm doing this now, I'm taking a picture now, I'm in this new video now. Although I do have schedules though, but there's no balance. There's no work-life balance. There's no even work-life balance actually because my work is my life. Life is my work, basically. I mean that's why I pride and I actually like it. It's not like as if I wouldn't be doing this now if I had the chance, if I didn't have the chance. So let me give you a phrase of the let me give you an idea of the work-life balance. There's this quote that I have that I'm supposed to release and I have not released, but I think I can remember it. Is that um live a life. There's this let me say the quote. I'm trying to remember it. I don't check my phone. So it's like live a life where you don't need to go for a vacation because your life is the vacation. So that's basically the quote. And when you think about it, you're like, let me even say it again. Live your life where you don't need to go for a vacation because your life is the vacation itself. So it's not like as if I'm dreading recording podcasts or like recording videos. I look forward to it. I enjoy it. So it's something I chose for myself. I look forward to programming. I look forward to solving bugs and like fixing problems and creating stuff. So something I chose for myself, not something that I was rather doing. So it's not like as if I need an extra life outside of it to balance it up. Like this is the life itself. So that's the idea of work life balance for me personally, though. So when you think about all those certain factors, it's hard to say that there is a price to it. And I'm not even going to come and tell you that I'm not even going to come and tell you that it's easy and the journey is simple and everything. It's quite difficult. Life is hard itself. Life in itself is hard. But when you understand some certain intricacies to life, when you understand certain patterns of like there's good, there's bad, there's good days, there are bad days. Like you can't be riding your good days every day. There will be bad days, and when you get those bad days, you realize that those bad days will not last forever because your good days are always going to come back, and they're always going to go, and they're always going to come back. Understanding those certain phenomena in life, you would make it to make life tolerable, of course, but you still have to face that pain daily. You have to adjust to pain at some point. You just have to adjust to pain because pain is part of growth. That one is another podcast or another topic on its own. Sure. But then, the journey could be a lonely road and you must be able to live alone with yourself. Now, this is something that I've been trying to work on, and I've not reached the apex. I'm not there yet, but I think I'm getting comfortable. I'm getting more comfortable with, being alone and just being by myself. And it's something I played into my relationships because when I think about my former relationships, I won't call them failed relationships because it's part of the experience. There was this. I keep diverting, but I guess that's a part of the podcast. There's this video that I saw recently. There was this someone that was like, when you look at all the houses you've been in, you houses you grew up in, houses you have moved out of, you're a tenant until you build your own house. Let's say you've lived in 4 houses throughout your lifetime. You've moved. You won't call all those houses, you won't call it like field houses. I failed in this house and I moved to another house. And I failed to this house and I moved to another house. So why do we now use field for relationships? Why do we have to say this was a failed relationship, this was a failed relationship? When we always know that we will still have to move on to relationships until we find the one that we are going to settle in for the rest of our lives or for the rest of the period of time or whatever. So the idea of failed relationships is not a good way to say it's not a good thing to say failed relationship or like you had a failed relationship. So that's just my own train of thought. Right. So I look at my relationships. I mean, I've had some in secondary school. I won't call those relationships. I won't lie to you. I won't call those relationships. I would only classify relationships as the one I finished secondary school, like the one physical relationships, right? So I've had to, currently at this point in time, I'm not doing anyone, I'm not seeing anyone. I am thinking not looking for anyone. I'm actually just fine, I'm just chilling. So where I'm coming from here is that I looked at it and then I was like, the reason why I entered those relationships was not because I actually liked those girls. I mean, I think I'm actually right now. I'm not sure. I don't want to go and say rubbish, but I am too logical to be in love. Let me just put it like that. There's this idea. I keep branching, but you guys should hear me out on this one. There's this idea that um two smart people cannot be in a relationship. One person has to be dumb, and that's true. And that's true. And the dumb person has to love the smarter person more, and that's true. And as a guy, personally, as a guy, you don't want to be the dumb person. You don't want to be the person that loves your girl more because she's going to leave you. And that's just normal principle of relationship. She's going to leave you. So if you guys are asking like how, why, probably another one, I'll talk about it. But then it's just it's a principle. Like every guy knows it that you don't love your girl more than she loves you. She has to love you more than you love her. Like I said, we don't love her though, but to maintain control of the relationship because guys have to lead the relationship and everything. If she's leading the relationship, she's not going to like you anymore. She's going to be like, I'm the one that's making decisions and this one and that one. So you guys get my idea. But basically, what I'm trying to say here is that what am I trying to say here? Leading relationship, this one, that one, leading relationship. What was I talking about again? Yeah, why I'm too why I'm too logical to love. And there was this question that somebody asked me too, like, how do you feel knowing that you never lost somebody wholeheartedly? And I feel I would eventually reach that stage. I feel I will get there. I'm not there yet. I'm still a very logical person. I won't get there yet. I will get there eventually. If I don't get there eventually, then such is life, I guess. But uh that's basically it. Like being logical, it affects relationship. Where was I heading to again? I've actually forgotten my train of thought. But you know what? Let's just continue to the next one because I've already okay, it was the point of living alone. And when I look at those relationships, I was like, I didn't love them wholeheartedly. I think the first one was my first relationship was my self-development arc. I was still dabbling into the idea of knowing yourself and everything. And then I dated this girl. It wasn't even long. My relationships are not even that long, actually. Maybe that's why I'm not devastated as much as I think I should be. It was like a 4 month relationship, like a 3 month relationship. And then she ended it actually. My brother was telling me to end that shit. Brother was telling me I should end that relationship, but she ended it first. So that was like bad luck on my part. I guess I loved that more than she loved me. And that was also one of the parts I understood. And that relationship destroyed me. Not because of like I actually loved her or anything, just because she was mostly what I was focusing on. And when she left, large there was like this large hole in my heart. Like, I started to question my life choices, like what am I actually doing in my life, there was this empty hole in my heart and I needed to fill it with something. And that's where self-development came in. I started to improve on my life and focus on my work and what I was doing. But the next relationship, I already put this fortified barrier in mind. And then it didn't affect me like my first relationship. Of course, I did in fact feel it though, but it didn't affect me like my first one. But where I'm heading to is the idea that I entered those relationships not because I actually love those girls to death. Just because I was just afraid of it's not like if I was afraid of being lonely per se. I just wanted to be with someone for the time being. When I think about it, like I shouldn't have been in a relationship with them. I should have just been friends, like very good friends. So I just didn't want to be alone. And after this my past relationship, I've just been it's almost been like it's even over a year now. So it has over a year is actually a long time though. So now that I've been thinking about it, I've been just be fortifying myself and like just understanding that it's okay to actually be alone. And for the most part now, I'm quite comfortable with being alone. I don't chat with anybody except for like maybe like depending on situation. I don't chat deep with anybody that much. I don't have a lot of conversations with people these days. I just walk when I release my work. I just chat with some people for a few minutes, and then that's it. I don't even talk that much with anybody. I didn't have any talking stage. And that's fine. Like I'm okay with just focusing on the work itself and just doing my stuff. But the idea of like is a lonely road actually, and you would get to that stage, you would get to that point of understanding that it's a lonely road. It's just that experience works for different people. And me telling you my experience might fast track the process, might not, I don't know. But everyone must always face their own will all face their own journey, of course. The fact that unrealized dreams or purpose would always haunt you. So there's this thing that people are always talking about, or you really just notice that people that had dreams, you just let's say you yourself, you always dreamt about doing something, you always dreamt about creating something, and you put it off, like I'm not ready, I don't have this, I don't have that. You put it off, and then time goes by, and it always haunts you. Like you could have done this, you could have done that, you could have done this, you could have done that. I personally don't have the experience, but I know it's a bad one. There's some things that I feel okay. There's some things that I felt like I should have done earlier, but I didn't do. But I still didn't make that way, right? But the idea is that you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that person. Like there's this Loki quote. You feel indebted to your purpose. There's this quote that from Loki. I think it was season two. Was this season two? Yeah. That I've forgotten his name. I've forgotten his name. I won't lie to you. But I think it was Loki's best friend in the series. Right, in the series. So it was like you don't want to be that guy that runs away from his glory, from his purpose. You don't want to be that guy that runs away from his purpose because purpose is more burden than glory. And you don't want to be that person that okay. Let me start the quote again. Let me start the quote again. You don't want to be that person that runs away from his purpose because purpose is more burden than glory. Oh, okay, sure. Let me start the quote again. Let me start the quote again. Let me start the quote again. Purpose is more burden than glory. That's what he said. It was like purpose is more burden than glory. And you don't want to be the guy that runs away from it because you can't live with the burden. You can't live with the burden. He said two things that I want to dissect. Like purpose is more burden than glory. Like the it's just like MIB. I watched MIB recently, Men in Black. I watched the first one where the guy was like the first few minutes, Will Smith, he had a partner, I forgot the name of the guy. I keep forgetting people's names. But then he had a partner and the guy was like it was like he served in the Marine for 6 years. He's a hero. He wants to save people and everything. And then Will Smith was now talking about that. He was like, "Do you know this guy? He saved the world 8 years ago. He saved 57 people 8 years ago, literally saving the world. Like, do you know him?" And then his partner was like, "I've never heard of him before." And he was like, "That's the thing. Like, there are heroes that you never hear of." And it just plays up to the idea of your purpose is more burden than glory. You might have the passion or the idea or the zeal to do this. Like my podcast now, my podcast might be my purpose to share my ideas with people. And it will never blow up. And that's it. And it's something you must live with. The fact that the podcast will never blow up. Like it's more burden than glory. It's more burden like I have the urge, I have the passion to share my ideas with people. That's the burden. And the glory is that it might never blow up. It might just never blow up. And that's fine. The purpose is more burden than glory. And you don't want to be the guy that shies away from it because you can't live with you. You can't live with the burden. You just can't live with it. You can't I can't imagine myself like 10 years later and I'm like, I have all these ideas, all these theories, all these observations I want to share, but I don't share them. Like I can't imagine myself in that kind of situation. So you don't want to live without burden. Like you could have been this person, you could have done so and so, you could have done this, you could have done that, you could have achieved this, you could have made meaningful connections with people, you could have enlightened people, but you just didn't because you were too afraid. You were too afraid of the uncertain road. You were be like, oh, what if it doesn't blow up? What if it doesn't? What if it doesn't that? So purpose is more burden than glory. You must accept the fact. You must accept it. You don't want to be that guy that is indebted to his purpose. You don't want to be that guy that is indebted to his dreams. Like I always wanted to be this, but I don't want to do it anymore. I'm running away from it. Like it's always going to haunt you. It's always going to haunt you one way or another. And trust me, you don't want to be that guy because the burden of regret is too hard, it's too heavy to hold, it's too heavy to bear, honestly. So, purpose is more burden than glory, and trust me, you don't want to be the guy that runs away from it because you can't live with the burden. Or I even wrote it here, and I was trying to quote it from my head. So, purpose is important and it defines our life and we can't run away from it. I mean, that's what I wrote at the end. So, it's the price you have to pay. So, the price might be different for certain people. It might be different for me. My own price, the price I have to pay is different from the price you have to pay. But just to understand that because you're losing something doesn't mean you're not going to gain something in return. Like you lose to gain. You lose an opportunity and that one is coming around in the corner. You lose a job and that one is coming around. You know. So because you're losing something does not mean you're not gaining something. Losing something is a new opportunity to gain something more, something better, So that price is something you have to pay for the dream you're willing to achieve, for that purpose itself. And sometimes you might not even pay it once, sometimes you have to pay it every day, paying every day like discipline. You have to discipline yourself. You have to limit distractions. You have to choose not to do some stuff. You want to record a video, your friends are inviting you to play b-ball. You have to be like, what, let me record a video and I can always play b-ball later. That's one of the prices of the dreams you have or the purpose you have. So just understand or have this idea in mind that you don't want to be that guy that runs away from your purpose because it's a burden you just can't live with. It's a burden you just can't bear. So thank you guys for listening to this one, and I will catch you in another one. Peace.